Let the bodies hit the floor. 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 Hey guys, the HHN Junkie here, and this will be my house review. But first, I want to give a shout out to Nathan WWE, Psycho Massacre Films, HHN Girl, it's technically XX, HHN Girl XX, and Mr. Killer Clown. I hung out with these guys during my opening weekend visit to Halloween Horror Nights, and actually Nathan WWE gave me this lanyard, which thanks again, man. And as you can see, these are the 3D glasses from the in-between. Before I get into the house reviews, I wanted to say this. Lady Luck was definitely on my side when I went. I went to hang out with XX, HHN Girl XX, and Nathan WWE, and a couple other people. I mentioned Psycho Massacre Films and Mr. Killer Clown. Go subscribe to all of these guys. Nathan WWE is not an updater, but he makes some freaking hilarious videos, so go subscribe to him. But I also got to hang out with somebody from A&D, which was really cool, and because somebody that I was hanging out with knew them. So when we met them, he was eating, and we got to hang out with him all night, which was really cool. We got to pick his brain about HHN, and he gave us all a little token, well, literally a token. It was actually, if you went to the tweet up, you got one of these. It's just a little, literally just a token. It has you know, the skull and crossbones and the spade on the front, and Halloween Horror Nights 21 on the back. But that was really cool, and we got to hang, like I said, we got to hang out with him all night, and actually got to skip the lines. Got to go in the RIP entrance. Now, I did not have an RIP entrance. This was just, or I did not have an RIP ticket. This was just a cool thing that really just a lucky thing that happened. I mean, we got to go in the RIP entrances, but the back, he told us a lot about, you know, like what certain stuff was based on, and stuff like that. And later, the next night, we got to do the same thing, except this time it was his wife, who actually makes some of the props for the houses, which was really cool. She made, I don't know if you've been in the house in Nightingales, she made the horse that's hanging over one of the trenches and eating, or one of the banshees is eating it and clawing at it, and she made she just made a bunch of the props, which was really cool to kind of like walk through the houses with her, and because she had to pass the second day as well, and we got to skip the lines, so we went through the houses like two or three times, which was really cool. But first, anyway, going on to that was just a really cool thing that happened. I thought I'd tell you guys. First, house, the in-between. This house was a really cool, it was the 3D house. I had the glasses, you know, and when you go in, there's like a tunnel, or first you go in and you see the rune game in the dorm room, and then you go through one of the spinning tunnels, which was very disorienting, and right when you come out, there's a character on either side of you. I was totally disoriented, so I couldn't even see the characters at first, but I saw them the second time we went through. This house didn't really scare me. It was a really cool house to walk through, but there weren't many scares to me. I mean, that's just me. Other people said that it was a really cool house and it scared them, but I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. The color, I mean, all the effects in it were really cool. They had a laser room with characters. I think there was only one. There might have been two, but it was really hard for me to see some of the characters in there because they blended in so well with the the bright colors and everything. But next we have the Forsaken. The Forsaken, again, I was kind of, all the houses were really good, don't get me wrong, but all the houses were really good, but some just weren't right up there with the others. This one was one of the ones that were on the lower scale. It was in it was just not as good as some of the other ones. Mostly because I think you could see all of the characters. You can see just about every one of them where they are because they have green eyes, like bright green eyes. It was cool, some of the stuff they used. You got sprayed with water sometimes because you're walking through a Spanish fortress and then you go onto a ship that's actually been crashed into it. Because, you know, it's Columbus's fourth ship and all that. But it was alright. It was an alright house. It was cool. It looked really cool. That's one thing. All the houses this year looked amazing. The visuals in the house were just astonishing. It took you to a different world. It was amazing how great the houses looked this year. All I can say about this house is I think they should have had a switch on their eyes to make the eyes turn off and on. I think that would have made the house a little better. But Nevermore, The Madness of Poe. This one I was really excited about, and I think because I was so excited about it, I kind of had my expectations a little higher than what they were. It was a really good house. It was a really cool house. Walking through the different poems, you walk in and you see, the first thing you see is Edgar Allan Poe, and he's like fretting, and he's got a bottle in his hands. He's not really a scary. He's not really a character, more as just a character. He's not supposed to scare you in the beginning. In the beginning, he's not. But this house had a really cool finale. I'm not going to give it away, but it had a really cool finale on it. And like you walk through the Raven. What I thought was really cool was the first poem I ever learned by him, The Pit and the Pendulum. That was a really cool room to watch, or to see, going through the house. Not many scares in this house either. I didn't really get that many scares in it. The Telltale Heart, that was probably a really cool room. That was probably the coolest room in the whole house, is the Telltale Heart. But again, not my favorite house. I'm going from, I'll get to my favorites in a minute. HR Blood and Guts, Holidays of Horror. A lot of people did not like this house. I personally loved this house. I thought this house was so funny. The Q video goes a lot along with the first scene in the house. Or it's actually the same scene as what's in the Q video, but it's such a funny house if you get every little detail in it. If you hit every moment at the right time. But right when you walk in, I was actually having a conversation. You see HR Blood and Guts right when you walk in the house, and I was having a conversation at one point with him as I'm walking through line, which is really cool to do. He's not supposed, again, like the Nevermore house. He's more of a character, not a character. He's there to greet you and invite you into the house because he's the host of Holidays of Horror, and there was a button in that you couldn't push it, but he could. And every time I went in the house, I told him to push the button, and he would. And all the actors there, I just got to say bravo, whoever played HR Blood and Guts in the house. That was just an awesome job. Just you get to talk to him. It's just a really cool house. And I gotta say, if you haven't been through the house yet, I'm sorry, this is going to be a spoiler, but at the end of the house, the last room is the Christmas room, and there's a elf that jumps out with a toy chainsaw and makes like a chain. I was laughing my butt off at that. He makes like a chainsaw noise, like "een" when he comes out. It was so funny, so funny. I loved that house. Saws and Steam into the machine. This house was amazing. It was just amazing. Saws and Steam. I didn't get to go through last year through the Scare Zone because I didn't go to the event last year. But this house was just, it was so cool. I thought it could have been a little more intense, but there were a couple scares in it that got me. But the visuals, probably one of the best visuals in the house, or out of the houses. It's between Saws and Steam, The Thing, and Winter's Night. Those were probably the three best looking houses. But Saws and Steam, it was really cool. There's an effect towards the end of the house that is kind of like this guy dressed in like a scuba suit, like an old scuba suit is what it looks like, with water. The water is actually pouring in front of him, but there's a strobe light going behind him, and it looks like water. He's just splashing everywhere in water and coming off. It's a really cool effect. And there's a chainsaw guy at the very end, actually outside of the house when you exit the house, and he would, rev up the chainsaw when you came out, and it was just a really cool house. Then we have The Thing. The Thing, a lot of people again didn't like this house. The Thing was probably it was without a doubt my favorite house. I loved that house. I thought it was so cool because you're walking through basically a war between the alien that is The Thing and the scientists there, who all have shotguns and pistols, and at one point there's a boo effect where one of the Thing like jumps out with attached to a bungee cord, and he gets you there, and then you turn around, and as you turn the corner, a girl pops out behind a bookshelf or just a shelf with a pistol and says, "Get out of the way," or whatever. That was really cool. And like I said, the visuals in that house were amazing as well. That was my favorite house, without a doubt. And Winter's Night. Winter's Night was a really cool house. One of the best looking houses. Like I said, between those three, Winter's Night was probably the best looking house. It looked like it went on for miles when you walk in. I mean, it just made that house look so good. When you walk in, it's real cold, and they got a snow effect that comes down, so you actually feel like you're, in wintertime. And you walk through, and they actually had, they call them the sorrowful angels because they can't call them the weeping angels from Doctor Who. But they had one over here and one over here, and one is actually a character, the other one is not. And there's that effect. And there's one really cool, not cool, but one really good boo effect in this house, and it got me really good. I only got startled a couple times in the houses. The houses weren't that scary to me, but I don't get scared. Not to sound like oh yes, I'm a man, but I don't really get scared that well in the houses. I go for the visuals. I'm a big fan of the art, and just to see how well the houses look, and they looked awesome. But this one probably looked the best. And then finally, Nightingales. Nightingales, to me, probably the scariest house. Not the most visually attractive because it was so small. The whole time you're walking through a trench, but it was probably had the most scares out of all the houses. I loved the finale, the machine gun with the Banshee flying above. There's a guy with a machine gun shooting up at him, and right when you walk through, there's another Banshee right here, and he says, "Look out," and aims the gun down at you and the Banshee and shoots, and air comes out and hits you. But not the most visually attractive house, but had a lot of scares nonetheless. So there you go, guys. That's my house review. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys are thinking, and look what I got.